Yo, you're watching your Screaming Fish here, people. Once again, I'm here for another video, but this time we are reviewing Assassin's Creed, which is a movie I've actually been looking forward to since I first saw the trailers. So without further ado, let's get into it and find out if Assassin's Creed lives up to the hype. So after the last two video game movies that came out this year, that being Ratchet & Clank and Warcraft, that were both disappointing to some degree in my opinion. I didn't have high hopes for Assassin's Creed initially, but when I first saw the trailers, I was blown away, and then I found out that Michael Fassbender was in this, so I got super hyped for this movie, not just because I like the games and the fact that Michael Fassbender was in this, but because the trailers showed me that maybe, just maybe, this movie may even be great, if even better than good. But unfortunately, I was wrong once again, because Assassin's Creed is one of the worst video game movies I have ever seen. It is on the level of Final Fantasy The Spirits Within, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, all the Resident Evil movies, and yes, even Super Mario Bros. I'm not even joking, that is my actual opinion. So now let's start with the most praised part of this movie, the action sequences. If you like beautifully choreographed and well-filmed action sequences, then you will not be satisfied because the action sequences in Assassin's Creed are the complete opposite of that. There are so many jump cuts and shaky cam that not only is it hard to see what's actually happening, but it's also disorientating. This movie is also edited with the desire to show absolutely everything from 3 different angles, which makes the action sequences even harder to watch. It's also a huge shame because there is clearly some amazing stunt work in this movie, but there is never any opportunity to really enjoy that aspect of the film because we're always cutting back and forth between shots, which gets disorientating at times, like I've just said. Moving on from the action sequences, the story is the living definition of the word mess, which feels weird, especially coming from someone who's played the games. The story just does not make sense at all. The film is absolutely stuffed with plot holes and things that do not make sense. And the dialogue, oh lord, the dialogue. The dialogue in this movie is by far some of the cheesiest, sloppy, and laughable dialogue I have ever heard, and it's just unbelievable that A-list actors like Michael Fassbender are delivering these lines. And speaking of the actors in this movie, the acting is not good. The performances just come off as pale and bland, and I honestly can't believe I'm saying this, but even Michael Fassbender gives a bad performance in this movie, which actually shocks me saying that, because we're talking about my favourite part of the X-Men reboot trilogy, or prequel trilogy, whatever you call it. I call it the reboot trilogy personally, but yeah, I did not like Michael Fassbender in this movie, which is really disappointing to say. Another problem I have with this movie is the violence. It is incredibly sanitized. There is a scene in this movie where somebody should be losing a lot of blood, and it should be spewing all over the floor. But no, it's just a tiny smidge, and it's color corrected to look black. Other times, the film will just cut away when something bloody or gory is about to happen, which is really irritating considering the games this movie is based on are all rated 18+ in the UK. Another thing that really annoyed me was this logical inconsistency where Michael Fassbender is in this machine and it cuts back and forth between the past and present, and you see him mimicking these actions that his past self is doing. But you only see him, it only cuts to the present when he's doing something epic and not when he's doing something like riding a horse, which again annoyed me because you think something epic is about to happen in the past, and then it just cuts back to him mimicking the actions in the present, and you don't get to see that epic moment. It also doesn't make sense because you don't actually know how he mimics his past self running in a straight line. What, does he just run in a circle? That's what I'm assuming. But yeah, to me it just, the whole machine with the Animus just did not make sense to me. So overall, Assassin's Creed is not a good movie. It is an awful movie that I do not recommend you waste your time or money on this Granted, some people do like this film. I do respect those. I do respect the opinions of those people. But to me, it's pretty much everything I didn't want it to be. And so, once again, we are left with yet another polarizing video game movie. Everything from the way the action sequences are shot and edited to bits, to the terrible performances from Fassbender and co, and the unnecessarily confusing and convoluted storyline. So, those are my thoughts on Assassin's Creed. To summarize it in just 2 words, I would say that it was absolutely awful. So, guys, thank you for watching my review of Assassin's Creed. I know it's not the most positive way of ending it, but those are my thoughts, so too bad. So yeah, guys, once again, thank you for watching, and I will indeed see you in the next one, or to summarize it, I'll probably see you next year, seeing as how this is probably the last video I'll be able to make until next year. So once again, see you later, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will indeed see you in the next one, which I've said 3 times already, my bad. Goodbye.